We bought a vision board because in the secret it says whatever you put down and you actually write it down, it has a bigger effect. And we did exactly that. We literally wrote down what you see today, this life. Everything.
Yeah, almost everything.
A beach house in Destin, multi-million-dollar businesses, freedom, a bunch of kids. Cars. The lifestyle we have, we wrote that down 22 years. What was that, 20? Yeah, 22, 20,
yeah.
23
20 years ago. Aiden is almost 20.
20 years ago.
20 years, yeah.
We literally wrote it down. You have to have a vision of what you want. Your mind is like a compass. Whatever you focus on, whatever you put attention on, will gravitate towards you.
But we also do that together. Like, he doesn't just sit in his corner and do his own, and I don't sit in my car. Like, we do it at the same time together, and we're both in agreement.
Yes, and before I get too, weird about this, this doesn't invalidate anybody's religion. The Bible talks about this, So nobody's like, oh, he's not, that sounds pseudoscience or not. The Bible talks about visualization, manifestation. I don't know the exact quote, but there's multiple quotes in the Bible. So once you have a vision and you write it down, and I'm writing this down so you guys can take a picture of this and do this when you get home. You have to have a vision and some goals of what you want your life to look like. Because if you don't, you just exist.
Well, I think it's easy to just think small-minded, especially if you grow up that way, it's hard to think out of the box or bigger than that unless you learn more and see more and experience more. So I think for us, a lot of it was we thought bigger. We started thinking bigger on bigger scales, even where we lived. We were tired of being in that small town. Not that we moved that much far away, but it's we just started to think bigger.
Yeah. So from there, I started my business. We both graduated college, and things really just opened up. I wrote down that I wanted some physical locations for my business that I started On-Site Oil Change, and literally within, I'd say, a month or so, we got leads coming in of people wanting to sell their mechanic shops or get out of their mechanic shops. I kid you not, I went from out of the back of my truck, just mechanicking and changing oil, to having 4 locations within, 3 years?
Yeah.
It was that fast. And I'm not trying to be hocus pocus about it, but I think a lot of it has to do because you're writing it down. And Patty, and that's why I want to do this together, your wife, and that's why I wanted you to bring your wife and your husband here, because there's something magical when your wife gets on the same vibrational frequency as you, the same wavelength, and y'all are both aligned and y'all are pushing and focus on the same goals, magic happens.
And not holding each other back.
Yes. Weird, strange things happen because most couples, they're doing what? Yes. And a lot of you guys in here that are not entrepreneur, who in here has a wife that's not entrepreneurial, who's not really into that? Okay. I'm so glad that you'll raise your hand. Okay. This woman right here was not
I'm not a natural entrepreneur.
This thing you see right here that pushes hard with me, I couldn't even get her to come to a business meetup, a mastermind, just so you know. For you guys.
There's a few reasons though.
She was raising babies.
I was raising babies, and I think all of this is very seasonal because mamas that have young babies, that they can't focus on nothing else but their young babies. But I think what's important is not necessarily that they have to be on board and be at every meetup, but the fact that they're not bitching that you're at the meetup is supporting them, right? So you don't have to be all in. I hated the oil change shops because it was dirty. I didn't want to go in there. I didn't want to work with those people. But I was raising babies, but I still didn't hold him back from that. Yeah. I still was yeah, go Chris, Yeah. But it's not something I worked in the business on.
Well, I think
I think you could still do it if you're not an entrepreneur.
You got to ask yourself back to the vision board, where you want to go. How far do you want to take it? Because, somebody's goals and aspirations may be different than other people's. Pat and I want to, be worth at least a couple $100 million. That's real to me. I can do that in another 40 years. I'm 43. I think I still got another 30 years of fight in me. I already have a high net worth. That's realistic. You have to ask yourself, you may only want to be worth 10 million or 5 million, and there's no right or wrong. But you have to have a clear destination. It'd be like you driving a car and you don't even know where you're going. Most people don't even know where they're going. How many 24-year-olds have a $5 million revenue blue-collar company? Not many.
Or making vision boards at 18.
At 18 years old. That is the power of why you are, right? Because you had an intentional focus, a causation that you said, hey, I want to do something. And you put it down and you wrote it down. I just want to make note of that for you guys that are, so go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just, I've noticed over the years, I had shit on my vision board that I could care less about when I was 18 that I could care less about now at 24. And, I had a shift of perspective and focus to align my vision board for what I want out of my life. And as time goes on, I get around guys that are double my age, triple my age, and say, my goals are too short. So, that makes me want to go back to my vision board and make my vision board higher, And I was just curious, over the years as y'all got older, and it may be, from the time you were just starting the vision board to the next year, to the time you open your oil change shops, all the way to now. I know that you saw a drastic change in it, there's no doubt, because as time goes on, like you said, I know when you were 22 and you started vision board, you didn't want to be worth a couple $100 million.
No.
Right.
You're probably thinking, I want to be able to pay my bills.
I want to make a couple $100,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now I make a couple $100,000 a month.
I think our vision boards were always like really rational.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like outrageous.
Yeah.
It was like pretty rational.
You want to be a little outrageous, a little outrageous.
Bit, but not so far that it's unattainable.
To say, hey, I want to be a billionaire. When I hear people say that online, I'm like, dude, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Do you know what it takes?
Do you know? I know billionaires. I've been around billionaires. These guys are not always the happiest, and you're gonna sacrifice your whole life. I'm sacrificing a lot of my life just to do what I've done, but I'm happy about it, and I'm happy with my progression. So the point is, yes, it's gonna change over the time, and two, what somebody's goals and vision is gonna be different than everybody else. Do not. I'm gonna repeat this. This is very important.
Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Mm-hmm. Y'all understand that? And we all struggle with that. You watch what somebody else has got. You watch what I got, or you watch what somebody else has got, and you're like, "Well, I ain't got that." Well, what am I doing wrong? Dude, you're on your own journey, and guess what? There's always a bigger, badder person than you everywhere. You just got it. That's why you have to have a clear cut of where you're going, and just get singularly focused on what you want, and then be around people that are moving in the same direction, allies, and hang and just get pulled. But the biggest thing I see is just jealousy and envy. Envy runs the world, guys.
I could tell you, even as I waited tables in River Ranch down the road for 6 years, some of the richest people in Lafayette, and I was never envious. I was always inspired and curious.
What do you do for a living?
What do you do? What do you, like, I never looked down on people. Like a lot of people are like, I never looked down on them. I'm like, I am interested. Like, I love that I had a job that I can learn about some of the most wealthy people in Lafayette. Like, I felt like that was a blessing for me. So I treated them with utmost respect. And I said, either way, one day some of these people are going to hire me.